Heading into tonight's game against the Clippers, the Warriors are 15 and 14, so they're just a slightly above 500 team. They lost a nail biter on Christmas on an Austin Reeves game-winning layup. Just he was easily able to get that layup on them. He drove by Andrew Wiggins, so that loss was very heartbreaking to them, and it was an important game for them in the sense that they were trying to build up momentum just heading into next year, that they were going to use a stretch of games to build their team up. I think Steph mentioned before the game that this stretch was going to determine whether or not they could be an elite team versus just being like a struggling playoff team or a team that misses the playoffs. So that loss was devastating to them. As weird as that sounds, this is a regular season game, but I think that was a great barometer to let them know that they're not close to even being an elite team. It's not even close. But I just want to just talk about how there's been rumors about the Warriors making a big trade for the last month or so now. They've been in rumors, I believe, for Jimmy Butler. Now there's rumors of them acquiring Zion Williamson. I just want to talk about them getting Zion Williamson. Will he be able to save their season and turn them around? Well, I would say the answer to that is just a simple no. No, he wouldn't if they got him. Zion Williamson is a career underachiever. This is a man that I believe that does not love the game of basketball. Now, he loves the checks the game provides him. I think that's the only reason he keeps playing is to collect those checks, as they say. But outside of those checks, this man does not care about the game. He's been out of shape pretty much for almost every season he's been in the league, except for what I believe was last year when he actually looked like he was in reasonable shape, that he actually made the effort. But this year, he's back to being his normal self, just out of shape, not caring, and he's injury prone. This guy always gets hurt due to the way his body's set up. I just think the way he's designed physically, it's going to be very hard for him not to get injured. If you look at the way his body's shaped, it just seems kind of wobbly when he's running up the court, and he would have to lose a lot of weight to be prevented when it comes to injuries, and I don't think he has it in him. I, I'm just looking right now to see how much he's listed as. He's listed at 284 pounds, but I'm willing to say he's probably closer to 300. I would say probably the ideal playing weight for him would be 250. He would have to slim down to that much, but I don't think he has it in him to do that. So that's always going to be an issue for him. I would say when it comes to the defensive end for the Warriors, he would be a traffic cone. He's definitely not going to help them on the defensive end. He's a huge liability that whatever he gives them on the offensive end will be taken away from them on the defensive end. He's like a black hole in defense. Teams will be able to exploit him on every possession. I feel to be a good defender in the NBA today, if you're a big man, you have to be able to switch. You have to be able to cover screens. You have to be mobile to do all those things. And you have to be able to do them very quick. You have to have a high IQ to do that stuff. And I don't think Zion has either of those things, those attributes. So he definitely will cause a lot of problems on the defensive end. And I think the Warriors would lose a lot of games because of that. They acquired him. So you got to factor that. Now, offensively, is he a dominant force in the paint? Absolutely. Like, this guy, when healthy, I thought could be a combination of Charlotte Hornets Larry Johnson and Charles Barkley when he was younger. He seemed to show flashes of both of those guys when I watched him play. But I would say that that's one of the great things about what he had is his talent, but he's not able to put it together. Just he's not able to stay consistent enough to do that. But on the offensive end, I would say he is a dominant force. He could command double teams just with his aggression. However, he's just not going to stay healthy. And plus, the defensive side of the ball will hurt them, I believe. So I don't believe that getting Zion would turn them around. You got to factor in also how many players they would have to give up for Zion. They would have to give up probably several because he makes a lot of money to match his contract. And you have him for 4 years. So that's a risk in itself. You're going to have to give up a ton of players to get him. You're probably going to have to give up a few unprotected draft picks to get him. So I don't really think it's a smart move for them to do to mortgage their future for a question mark in Zion Williamson because you really don't know if he's going to show up. I'm willing to bet he will not show up to be in game shape or to be ready to play. I think the Warriors have this hubris probably to get him that they believe that they can convince him to change, and they believe that being around a champion like Stephen Curry would get him to change his work ethic and to take the game seriously, and that if they could do that, then maybe lightning will strike twice again from them, and then they can go on another championship run. I think that would be like their hope. That would be like their last act of desperation to turn things around for them. This is an organization that's always been arrogant, that believes that they're light years ahead of the league, when obviously they were just lucky. Just like that phrase that goes, lightning strikes twice. They got lucky when they got Durant. That was like lightning striking twice. Heck, Jordan Poole turning out to be a good player during that championship run was again like lightning striking again. Just so they got lucky a few times, but I think that luck went to their head, and now they think that they have some kind of magical formula on how to win, even though they've lost the last few years. They haven't been humbled yet, but I do believe if they get Zion, it'll be a huge mistake because they'll be stuck with him for 4 years, and he's just not going to take it seriously. They will mortgage their future, and they wouldn't win jack with him and Stephen Curry. I just don't see it happening. I think the Warriors are in this phase now of Stephen's career where he's past his prime now. He's sitting out tonight's game because he has tendonitis. And I remember hearing him say in an interview earlier this season that this is something new he's never dealt with in his knees. It's not something he's used to, that he's playing through it, but you could tell it affects him at times when he's even running around screens. He's a little bit less mobile. He sometimes limps at times. So it's hurting him. It's impacting him. They're never going to get that MVP Stephen Curry they once had. I think the last time he was able to play at a really high level was, I would say, back when they won their championship a few years ago. I'm just trying to see here. Let me just pull up Stephen Curry's stats. Just give me a few seconds. I just want to see the last time he played at a really ridiculous high level. Actually, it was 2 years ago. That was really the last time he was playing at an insanely dominant level, and that was the year where he had to get the Warriors into the playoffs. Just after they won a championship, they limped into the next season, and they haven't been the same since then. Obviously, Draymond derailed their season by knocking out Jordan Poole, but that was the last time he really was an MVP caliber player. And ever since that season, it's been a decline. I think last year took out whatever he had left of his prime, trying to carry the Warriors to the playoffs, and now he doesn't have anything left in his prime. He's out of his prime now. I think this is official. So the Warriors are just not going to win anything with him now. And I don't think adding a player to his team will change anything, short of getting a Jokic or a Giannis or even a Luka Doncic-like talent. Just that's the only way they could probably resurrect this team and be a title contender again. And that's highly unlikely to happen. So they'll make a stupid trade. But I hope it's Zion, just for the comedy of it. Just I think it'll be funny to see him fail in Golden State, just to see the misery on their faces. Maybe he'll just punch out Draymond for all of us so we can enjoy that part of it when Draymond gets on his case. Just that would be funny. But yeah, I just think they're over, and it's just a question of who will they be dumb enough to trade for. That's what we're all going to wait for. I do definitely think they're going to make a move during the trade deadline. So just be on the lookout on that. It could possibly be Zion or someone else.